What's the principle for today? Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CSA Village. Give it up for the CSA Village. I'm Beverly, and I will be your queen of ceremony for today. So I welcome each and every.
Turn the mic on.
Turn it on.
So did you hear my name? You got the queen? Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the Center for Spiritual Awareness. We call it lovingly CSA. And we are here to celebrate Kwanzaa. This is year 51 for Kwanzaa celebrations. Does that just give a round of applause? 51. And this is year 15 for the Center for Spiritual Awareness. So today we have a festive program for you. There'll be drumming and dancing, of course, and singing. And we plan on dropping a little bit of knowledge through a play that we have called Bone Soup. So we have a special treat for you. So in African culture, before celebrations begin, it is customary to ask the elders permission before we begin the celebration. So I would like to ask the male and female, we want the eldest in the group, is there anyone, male or female, that's 100 years old? Hey, you never know. 90 years old. How about 80? 80, right here. All right, we'll start. All right, we're working for our female eldest. 75. 70?
Right here.
70 right here. We have a community elder. So we have Richard as our village elder for our male population, and we have Carol for our female. So I'd like to ask you, Carol, do we have your permission to begin the festivities today?
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Richard, do we have your permission to begin the festivities today?
Yes.
Thank you. He had to be instructed a little bit. All right, so let's give it up for our village elders. So remember these folks, when you're back there eating, remember these are our village elders, and they are sharing wisdom with you today, okay? So a little bit of housekeeping. Our restrooms are right through these double doors here. And I want to talk to the parents for a little bit. This is an event that is, you know, you kind of want a tendency to quiet your kids down. Do not do it. We want them to express themselves however it shows up, and you too. So if you are moved to dance, to move, to sway with the music, to get up on your feet and participate, please do that. This is our community celebration. The greetings of Kwanzaa are in Swahili, which is a Pan-African language. And so when I greet you with Habari Gani, which simply means, what's the news? The answer is the Kwanzaa principle for today. And today our principle is Humba. Okay? So can you say that? Humba. So when I say Habari Gani, you say Habari Gani? Humba. All right, got it. So you know Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a time of reflection, it's a time of meditation, it's a time of recommitment, and it's also a time of remembrance. Remembering our journey, remembering our ancestors, remembering the fruits of our labor. And libation helps us to remember those ancestors who made a difference in our lives. Now, a lot of folks have left the earth, the planet, this expression this year. Whether it's a famous person or maybe you've had someone in your life where someone's made their transition. This is an honored opportunity for us to remember those folks who made a difference in our life. And to help us with the libation process, I am honored and would like to invite the Poré family to come up and lead us in libation process. So we have Brian, Larissa, and their two daughters, Nola and Shay. Let's welcome them.
Hello, everybody.
So we will now lead you through the libation experience. Libation is a form of prayer. Libation is pouring of liquids using the unity cup. Water or spirits are used to acknowledge those whose deeds on earth are to be remembered, honored, and respected. The intent of libation is to remember and honor those who walked and worked before us and thus paved the path in which we now walk. To raise models before the community that instructs and inspires, and to express the recommitment to the legacy they had left by preserving and expanding it.
In African community, it is a tradition to pour libation in remembrance on all special occasions. And of course, today being Kwanzaa is such an occasion.
So it provides us an opportunity to reflect on our African past and American present.
Water is used because it represents the pure essence of life. We basically take water in the community cup and we pour it into a living plant. And it represents the essence of love, the essence of life, the essence that keeps giving and giving, generation and generation. Long after the physical disappears, water still remains.
The word ashe is used after the calling of the four sacred directions. Ashe is a Yoruba word from Nigeria and means energy of the universe, growth, force toward completeness in divinity, or simply put, and so it is.
I know, I found out what ashe mean last year. I would hear people say that, and I was like, what does ashe mean? And then our queen, she broke it down. Well, I've been saying ashe ever since. So now we're going to take a moment to receive spirit. So I'm going to ask you guys to just take a moment to quiet yourselves. If you have anything in your hands, let's go ahead and place that on the floor next to your feet. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And close your eyes. We're going to begin. And if you're standing up, sometimes it's helpful to stand against a wall just so you don't get too loosey-loosey. So we're going to have you, if you're standing against the wall, feel free to find some comfort and strength from that as well. But if you're sitting down, please have your hands on your lap. Just close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in. Breathe in deeply. And put yourself in a receivership spirit, that you're here to receive all the goodness of all of those who have come before us, as well as breathing out the goodness that you're going to give to yourself and for those around us. We're going to have you just breathe in deeply from a deep place within, not a superficial breath, but a deep breath. Take it all in. As you breathe out, imagine your body being buoyant, like water, like fluid, allowing yourself to be fluid enough to take on all the ebbs and flows of life, fluid enough to both give and receive and accept who you are, as well accept those who are around you. And as you breathe in and breathe out with ease, I want you to remember your connection with the one, the one and only, the one of all creation. Whether it has 2 feet, 4 feet, whether it flies in the air, whatever it may be, but you're one with all there is. And in your heart, I want you to imagine whoever that deity is. It could be Jesus, it can be Amma, the great goddess, whoever it may be to you. I invite you now to call upon their name out loud, to fill this room with their presence. Ashe. And at this point now, I would invite you to open your eyes as we move forward through the libation process.
Well, now I invite everybody to stand, please, if you're able to.
And now as you're standing, we're going to invite our daughters on stage, both Shay and Nola. Or ask our community to help us invite them on stage as we do the libation process.
So as one, we would turn to the east, home of the Great Spirit, the place of the rising sun. Its gift is a new dawning sky and enlightenment. And we all say, Ashe. We turn to the south, home of the Mother Earth. Its gift is one of love, emotion, community, and introspection. The southern direction is one of warmth and growth, a place of innocence and trust. And we all say, Ashe. We turn to the west, home of the grandmother ocean and all the water creatures. Its gift is rain and youth and vision quest. And we all say, Ashe. We turn to the north, home of the Father Sky. Its gift is wisdom, strength, and endurance. And we all say, Ashe. And you can be seated, and we will share the libation statement. For the motherland, cradle of civilization, for the ancestors and the indomitable spirit, for the elders from whom we can learn much, for our youth who represent the promise for tomorrow.
For our people, the original people, for our struggle and in remembrance of those who have struggled on our behalf. For Umoja, the principle of unity which guides us in all that we do. For the Creator who provides all things, both large and small. In pouring libation, we stop to recognize, much like what our queen said tonight, we stop to recognize all who have come before us. Because none of us have made it here by ourselves, right? We're sitting in our chairs by ourselves, but there still was a grandfather who held our hand, a mother who told us she loved us, a grandmother whose bosom we rested on, or a dog, right, if you're like me, who licked your tears. A brother who told you that everything was gonna be okay, even though you know you were talking crazy. They told you everything was still gonna be okay. Libation is when we take an opportunity to recognize those people. So how this works is we work together as a community. So how this is going to work, I'm going to demonstrate this for you. So I'm going to say a name. After I say a name, you're going to invite them to come and join us. And after we invite them to come and join us, we're going to say, what are we going to say? Come and be with us. And then we're going to say Ashe. So here's an example. I'm going to invite my brother Ernest, okay? I'm going to say his name, Ernest. You guys are going to say, come be with us, and together we say Ashe. After we do that, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to invite someone with us. So I'm literally going to point to you. After we do that, as a group, we're going to all shout names together. So I'm going to start with my brother. His name is Ernest. Ernest, come be with us. Ashe. All right, you guys got it. Okay, so who wants to invite someone with us today? You with the pink vest? Come be with us. Ashe. Who else wants to join? McKinley, come be with us. Ashe. All right, you with the black jacket? Alton Plummer, come be with us. Ashe. Let's have a couple more with the green sweater. Amun, come be with us. Ashe. Odie Mae, come be with us. Ashe. I love it. It's so powerful because it's a perfect example that we're here in the physical, and those people, we can't see them, but we can feel them, right? And we love it. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a 3-point countdown, and when I get to 1, everyone shout out a name. And I want to hear names coming left and right, north, south, east, and west, okay? So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Together we say, come be with us. Ashe. All right.
That was powerful. Gotta take a breath. Well, now we come to the end of the pouring of libation.
I forgot to do the water, y'all. Let's do the.
We're gonna backtrack, rewind.
We're gonna backtrack. So when we call out the name, Nola's gonna pour the water. Okay, so let's just do it together. Okay, that's the point of libation. So when we count to three. 3, 2, 1. Count out the names. Come be with us, Ashe. All right, there we go. Libation.
Well, now we come to the end of libation. We come with that with Harambe. Harambe means let us all pull together in unity. Harambe is chanted 7 times in honor and reinforcement of the Nakuza Saba. I'm going to invite everyone to stand again, if you're able to. And I'm going to demonstrate how we're going to do this. We're going to put our fists in the air, get that energy, we're going to bring it down with power, and we're going to say, Harambe, Harambe, Harambe. Hey, there we go. Oh, excuse me, let's take it. I got him. That was just the example. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that 7 times. I got the count. We're going to get our workout on now. Okay, so everybody put your hands in the air 7 times. I got the count. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Harambe! 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 Thank you. And we all say, Ashe.
Let's give it up for the Poire family. Thank you very much for leading us in libation and grounding us. This room feels very full right now. Feels good, feels good. So the greetings during Kwanzaa are in Kiswahili. And Swahili is the language of the Swahili people of the southeast of Africa. Swahili is a non-tribal pan-African language and widely spoken in Africa. The language was chosen to reflect on Africa and the African culture. Rather than a specific ethnic or national group or culture, the greetings are to reinforce awareness and commitment to the 7 principles. So we already know that when we use Habaragani, that means what's the news, and we know how to respond to that. We also heard the word Ashe, right? And then now we hear the word Harambe. So when you walk away from here today, we've already built capacity. You have your foundation in Swahili, okay? So Harambe, Ashe, and Habaragani. All right. I want to acknowledge our drummers over here. Let's give it up for our drummers. In African culture, the drum has great presence. Drumming is the backbone of African music. And since the dawn of civilization, drum and dance has played a central role in rituals and ceremonies and building community awareness. In Africa, drumming and dancing is a spiritual heart of the community. Rhythm and dance awakens the soul and promotes a deep bond between us and all beings. The drummers that are here today are not here for merely entertainment. They are here by design. They are the foundation that this celebration is standing on. And I feel fully supported. So let's give it up for our drummers. And so now we're at the point in our program where we are going to sing the Black National Anthem, also known as the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing, and I'm going to invite Ayana Kaburi to come up in just a moment. So Lift Every Voice and Sing, often referred to as the Black American National Anthem, was written by James Weldon Johnson. The song was originally written as a poem by James Weldon Johnson in 1899 and set to music by his brother John Rosamond Johnson in the 1900s. Lift Every Voice and Sing was publicly performed for a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12, 1900. The song was sang by 500 school children at the segregated Stanton School. James Weldon Johnson was the principal. In 1919, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP, dubbed it the Negro National Anthem for its power in voicing the cry for liberation and affirmation for African American people. So I'd like to invite Ayana Kabori to lead us in the Lift Every Voice and Sing. Thank you.
Habari Gani? Very good. You guys are good. Excellent. So I'm going to lead us into song. I'm not going to sing this by myself, right? Because this is a song for all of us. So if I can ask you to please stand. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
Ayana Kabori, give it up for her. So now it's time for our historical tribute. History is very important to us as a people and important to tell our stories, and we need to tell our stories. And in African culture, it is customary to pass information from one generation to the next through oral traditions. The griot is an African storyteller whose focus is on keeping that history alive. So it's time for our historical tribute, and it's our way of telling our stories and keeping the history alive. Tonight, we have our very own Andia Kaburi, who will be sharing her historical tribute. Come on up, Andia.
Hi everyone. So, happy Kwanzaa. So, my name is Andia Kaburi, as said before. But I would like to take a moment to pay tribute to a very influential ancestor in my life. Her name is Carrie Bell Murphy, my great-grandma. So, Carrie was born in Georgia March 14th, 1921, and died July 25th of 2010 at 89 years old. She was actually also born with a twin, but unfortunately he died a year later. So, Gigi, which is the name she gave herself, lived a full, inspirational life. As an infant, her family joined the Great Migration and moved from Georgia to Pennsylvania. So after spending her elementary and high school years in Pennsylvania, Carrie moved to New York and worked as a maid for about a year. After the year stay in New York City, she moved back to Pennsylvania. Now, Carrie was a woman who absolutely loved baseball. She could watch it for hours. And a baseball game is actually where she met her husband, my great-grandpa. So he was playing in one of the games that she was at, and he approached her and basically said, if I hit the next home run, I get to walk you home. And he did hit the next home run. So, so in 1943, they were married. And then a year later, in 1944, my great-grandpa, he was drafted into the military out of medical school. So while he was fighting in World War II, Carrie became a welder. She worked for the military and mainly worked on ships. And she was such a small woman that they would actually hang her upside down in order to weld under the ships in small spaces. So it was a pretty crazy job for her at the time. Yeah. So after World War II, my great-grandma and her husband lived in Europe off and on for multiple years. Now, that was a really small portion of her life. Carrie lived a very full life, as I said before. And ever since I was a little kid, she's always been a really big inspiration to me. Carrie was a black woman, a mother, a welder, a wife, an artist, a nurse, and many more things. So Carrie, she lived through the Great Migration to the North, the Great Depression, the Jim Crow era, World War II, and the Civil Rights Movement. And also another moment, which was very, very important to her and was very close to her, was she was able to see the first African American president be elected here in the United States. So, Carrie lived a really long life, and she's always been a really big inspiration to me, and she has left a beautiful legacy for her family. Thank you.
We want to hand over to our youth, right? To continue to tell the stories, just as in the oral traditions. So I want to give you an overview of Kwanzaa, and I'm going to have some support in doing this. Folks have asked me often about the Kwanzaa altar and the symbolism that's associated with it. So what we do here is we invite the kids from CSA to help us build the altar right before your very eyes. And so that way when you see them come down, and I'll explain what the symbolism is, that you'll walk away with that knowledge as well, okay? So let's talk about Kwanzaa. What is Kwanzaa? It's an African-American cultural celebration conceived and developed by Dr. Malana Ron Karenga in 1966, an African-American scholar and activist. Dr. Karenga was discouraged by the civil rights struggles of the 1960s and dismayed by the 1965 Watts riots. Kwanzaa is based on the harvest celebration of rural Africa, and its name is derived from the Kiswahili term matunda ya kwanza, which translates to first fruits. It was not born on the continent of Africa. It is indeed the fruit of Africa and its children. Karenga based the celebrations of Kwanzaa around reacquainting African Americans with their cultural heritage and uniting them in the spirit of family and community. Kwanzaa is a time of reflection, celebration, commitment, and hope. And some of the important characteristics of the African celebration that Malanga Karenga wanted to bring back to America was that there was an ingathering, that the people gathered together to celebrate their crops and their harvest, or the fruits of their labor. That there was a reverence, that the people would give thanks to their Creator for the beauty of creation, a good harvest, and a good life. Commemoration, that they would remember and celebrate and honor the ancestors and seek the lessons that they can learn from the examples of human excellence. And recommitment. The people would recommit themselves to their community in an effort to bring to the best about the culture, to bring the best to others. And then there's a celebration. The people celebrated everything, including their history, their culture, the Creator, and hope. Hope for the future. It was a celebration of all things great and small. Kwanzaa is a 7-day celebration of family, community, and culture, celebrated from December 26th to January the 1st. Each day focuses on the Nguzo Saba, or the 7 principles: Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujima, Nia, Kumba, and Imani. It's important to note that Kwanzaa is a cultural holiday, not a religious one, and does not replace Christmas or compete with Christmas. There is no competition. Thus, is available to be practiced by Africans of all religions and faith who come together based on the rich, ancient, and very common ground of their culture. Kwanzaa is an African-American holiday, but Kwanzaa is a holiday that is celebrated by all people. We believe that any particular message that is good for a particular people, if it is human in its content and ethical in its grounding, speaks not just to that people, it speaks to the world. So Kwanzaa is celebrated by all. So the principles of Kwanzaa and the message of Kwanzaa has a universal message for all people of goodwill and speak to people all over the world. So now I'm honored to have the children of CSA to assist me and building the Kwanzaa altar. The first thing that we're going to have come up is mkeka. Can you say that? Mkeka. Mkeka is the mat. And the mat, symbol of history and tradition, representing the base or foundation of a garment, Kwanzaa symbols are placed on the mat. The next thing we have is the kanara, similar to a traditional menorah. It's 7 candlesticks used in celebrating Kwanzaa, also known as the 7 branches. Kanara is generally made of wood, significant because of the thickness and relates to the African forest. Next, we have the mashuma saba, which are the 7 candles. The 7 candles represent the nguzo saba. Of the 7, 1 is black, which is placed in the middle, 3 red are placed to the left, and 3 green to the right. The black candle in the center, the red to the left, and the green to the right. So when you light your candles, you light it on a particular day, and when you light your candle the next day, because it's for 7 days, you light the candle that you lit the previous day in addition to the candle and the principle of the day. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So next we have the unity cup, which is the Kikobi Cha Umoja, and the unity cup symbolizes the foundation principle of the Nguzo Saba, Umoja, unity, used to pour libation for our ancestors. It is poured to represent the connection with our ancestors. And usually there's a gesture of honor and praise and commitment when we remember the journey of our ancestors. The next thing that we have are the crops. Mazayo, can you say that? Mazayo. Okay, represents the historical roots of Kwanzaa. As the harvest of first fruit celebration, Mazayo represents the rewards and the collection and the productive of our labor. Most urban dwellers do not have crops or fresh fruits and vegetables that we're producing, but we do have the fruits of our labor that we produce throughout the year. The next thing we have is mahindi. Can you say mahindi? Mahindi is ears of corn. Each house places on the mkeka, the mat, an ear of corn for each child in the house. Even if the household has no children, at least 1 ear of corn is placed beside the kanara to represent the potential for children or the future, knowing that the future is grounded in our children. So no, Kwanzaa serves to reinforce the relationship between parents and children as well, because it is with the children that our hopes rest for the future. It is the parents who must guide and instruct the child towards principle and value, which strengthens the family and its progress. The next symbol we have is zawadi. Can you say zawadi? Zawadi. Zawadi, these are the gifts. And with Kwanzaa, you don't buy commercial gifts. The gifts have to be from the fruits of your labor, made with your hands, or a gift of intellectual knowledge. So whether it's a book, a heritage symbol, African art, doesn't matter. Handmade gifts is really what it's all about. Never a store-bought or commercial gift. And then the next thing that we have is the bandera, which is the national flag. And we have it already represented on the stage. And it's the red, black, and green. The black represents the African American people. The red represents the experience and struggles of our people. And the green represents the youth for our future and hope for tomorrow. I also place as one additional symbol on the altar is a copy of the Nguzo Saba, which are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia, Kumba, and Imani. So now we're going to light our candles, and we always start with the black candle, which is in the middle, representing Umoja, and is to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Then we're going to light the furthest red candle, which is Kujichagulia, self-determination, to define for ourselves and name ourselves and create for ourselves and speak for ourselves. Next is going to be the furthest green candle, Ujima, collective works and responsibility, to build and maintain our communities together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems to solve together. The next one is the next red candle, is Ujamaa, and Ujamaa is cooperative economics, to build and maintain our stores, shops, and other businesses to profit from them together. The next green candle is Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. The next red candle is Kuumba. Kuumba is creativity, to do always as much as we can, in any way that we can, in order to leave our community more beneficial and beautiful than when we inherited. And then the last one, the last green candle, is Imani, faith, to believe with all of our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and the victory of our people. So here we have the Mashuma Saba representing the Nguzo Saba, and let's give it up for the children of and with the assistance of Mushad. Thank you very much. So I hope that gives you a foundation of knowledge to assist you with understanding what Kwanzaa is, where did it come from, how do we celebrate it, and what the actual symbols represent for you. So now it's time for our play. We have a play for you. It's called Bone Soup, and members of the CSA community will present a play. Oh, back up. Now we have a dance that's going to be coming from the Phoenix Drum and Dance Company. So give it up for Phoenix. Love it. So now it is time for the play. You see, I'm very excited about this. We have a special treat for you. Members of the CSA community will present a play called Bone Soup, a Kwanzaa story. The play uses elements of Kwanzaa and brings the principles to life. The royal citizens of Culture Kingdom, who once celebrated Kwanzaa every day, are devastated when a terrible plague called the recession hits their village. The loss of the things that once held dear caused them to abandon their principles. The principles of unity, self-determination, collective works and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Soon after the recession, two scholars, Milana and Karenga, returned home from a study abroad and a trip to Africa, surprised by the selfishness of their once community-minded neighbors. The scholars seek the counsel of their queen, the omnipotent, the royal, superhero culture queen. With help from the community, she encourages the citizens to rekindle their Kwanzaa spirit. So with just a pot, water, and a magical bone, Milana and Karenga devise a clever plan to involve the citizens in cooking a traditional bone soup. And soon the citizens began working together to return their kingdom to its Kwanzaa traditions of family, culture, and community. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, bone soup.
Once upon a time, in a land called Culture Kingdom, not too far from the Center for Spiritual Awareness, lived people who celebrated Kwanzaa, the African-American holiday that celebrates community, family, and culture. Each day, the citizens of Culture Kingdom sang the national anthem in the spirit of Umoja, the Kwanzaa principle for unity. Habarigani!
Habarigani! What's the news? The Kwanzaa spirit lives in you. Umoja,
Ujima,
Kuumba, and Nia,
Ujamaa,
Imani, and Kujichagulia. With these 7 principles combined, we are the spirit of Kwanzaa time. Harambe! Harambe! Let's pull together!
Each morning, the citizens of Culture Kingdom woke up and gave thanks to the Creator. Then they used Nia to ask themselves, what is my purpose? They used Kujichagulia to determine what they would do and how they would carry out their goals for the day.
who? Who?
Am I really who I say I am?
Am I really who I am supposed to be?
Am I really who I say I am? Am I all that I ought to be?
Am I really who I say I am?
Am I all that I ought to be? Am I really who I say I am? Am I all that I ought to be?
They use Kuumba, the Kwanzaa principle of creativity, to prepare for Kwanzaa.
Jambo, neighbor, what are you doing?
I'm using my Kiumba to weave a makeka, the mat that goes on the Kwanzaa table. Jumbo neighbor, what are you doing?
I'm using my Kuumba to carve a kanar, the candle holder that goes on Kwanzaa table.
Jumbo neighbor, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm making red, green, and blue, black candles to go in the canara that goes on the table, Kwanzaa table.
Thank you, brother.
They use Kujichagulia, the Kwanzaa principle for self-determination, to define themselves, name themselves, and create themselves.
Jumbo neighbor, what should you call your baby now that he is born?
Since he was born during Kwanzaa time, I think I would name him Zawadi. It means Kwanzaa gift in Swahili.
The citizens of Culture Kingdom used Ujima, the Kwanzaa principle of collective work and responsibility, to work together to solve their problems and meet their needs.
Hey neighbors, since Kwanzaa means first fruits, we should have fruit for our Kwanzaa table.
I'll be happy to help you get some fruit. You know what else we need? We need some mohindi or corn. Will you help me pick the corn?
Sure, I'll get some friends together and we'll be done in no time.
Everyone owned a business, and everyone helped each other around them in the spirit of Ujamaa, the Kwanzaa principle for cooperative economics.
Red, black, and green flags for sale. They're the best price in Kwanzaa Kingdom.
Through it all, they believed in Imani, the Kwanzaa principle for faith, which meant to believe in themselves, trust in themselves, their parents, their leaders, and their ability to overcome adversity while making progress as a people.
When I grow up, I want to be just like President Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the United States.
When I grow up, I want to be like Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American elected to Congress.
When I grow up, I want to be like George Washington Carver. He started with peanuts and fed millions of people around the world.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Maury Turner, the first syndicated African-American cartoon in the development.
One day, a terrible plague called the recession hit Culture Kingdom. Once the recession hit the kingdom, it affected everyone in many ways. People lost their jobs, their cars, their businesses, their families. Pretty soon, everyone forgot to celebrate the Kwanzaa principles because they were all so stressed out. This left the community very sad and very disconnected. It was a very sad time. Several months later, two scholars, Malana and Karinga, returned to their homeland, Culture Kingdom, after a year-long study abroad in Africa. They had visited all 54 countries on the continent of Africa to learn about its many cultures and diverse people. They were so excited to share with the community all that they had learned, but when they got home, they were sadly surprised at how much their kingdom had changed. The first thing that they had noticed was that they could not find employment. Though they were highly qualified as professors, they couldn't find jobs as professors or in any other field. Day by day, they began to run low on resources. They had hoped to get help from the citizens of their hometown. They stopped at the University of Culture Kingdom to speak with the university president.
Well, excuse me. We have returned from a year-long trip abroad to the continent of Africa. And I would love to teach at your fine university. Are you hiring?
Absolutely not. We're in a recession. I've had to let go of most of the professors. Come back next year. Good day.
Now the travelers had the faith of Imani, the Kwanzaa's principle for faith, and they were not ones to give up easily. They decided to keep trying and went to a successful business owner's house near the University of Culture Kingdom.
Pardon me, sir. We just returned from a year-long journey from a trip from Africa. And we're wondering, are you hiring for your business at this time?
Absolutely not. We're in a recession. I have worked very hard for this luxury life that I live. Why should I share it with a stranger? Have a happy day.
No matter where the scholars went, everyone said the same thing.
We're in a recession.
The travelers became very disappointed in the citizens of Culture Kingdom.
This is not the Culture Kingdom we left a year ago. You know, we should move to another culture kingdom. Our people didn't even welcome us the way we expected.
Up, you mighty race! You can accomplish what you will!
Just then, out of nowhere, appeared the super fly, Black history knowing, race upholding super heroine, culture queen.
And inspiration.
She inspired us all. As a baby, she was given the 7 powers of Kwanzaa by the almighty ancestors. Umoja, Kujichakulia, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. And with those 7 powers combined, she inspired the citizens of Culture Kingdom to turn the world right side up. Now, Culture Queen wasn't the type of queen to sit high and mighty on her throne while her people suffered, nor did she try to solve all of their problems. Instead, Culture Queen used her superpowers to inspire her people to uplift themselves. No one knew just how old she might be, but many of the great leaders throughout history had spoken of coming to Culture Queen with their problems in their time of need. Today, Culture Queen had come to speak with Alana and Karina.
I said up, you mighty race! You can accomplish what you will. Open up your mind. Where is your pride? All you need lives inside. You can't give up. You can't give in. That's not the way of Black Americans. The Ishago bone, the world's oldest bone. From the country of Congo, it was given to me. I pass it on to you. Use it to make a special soup. Habarigani. What's the news? The Kwanzaa spirit lives in you. Umoja, Ujima, Kuma, and Nia, Ujamaha, and Imani, and Kuchitakalia. With these 7 principles combined, you are the spirit of Kwanzaa time. Harambe, Harambe. Let's pull together. Harambe, 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 Harambe. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy, happy, happy Kwanzaa.
Was this old rickety bone. What are we going to do with this old rickety bone?
Well, my friend, times are certainly hard, but we got to put our heads together and come up with a plan. Let's get organized.
Let's get organized.
Let's get organized.
Let's get organized.
We got to strategize how to get organized.
We strategize how to get organized.
Let's get
Organized. Let's get organized. We got to strategize how to get organized. We can't operate until we cooperate. Let's get organized. Let's get organized. Yeah.
So the scholars looked into their bag to see what other items they had brought back from their travels that they could use. In Karinga's bag was a beautifully carved wooden spoon.
I have an idea. Follow my lead. It's going to sound crazy, but trust me on this. You know what? Let's make bone soup.
bone soup. Wait a minute. You might be on to something. My grandmother used to put neck bones in her greens, stews, or whatever else. She said it gave great flavor. I can't soup. But where are we going to get the rest of the ingredients from?
Oh, see now, sister, that's where you go wrong. You just gotta hang on and want the faith in your mind, right? Sometimes you just gotta fake it until you make it. You see, our ancestors have made something out of nothing for centuries. To make some food, making the best soup you ever knew with the Kwanzaa principles to see us through. Woo!
So the two scholars went to work, stirring and acting like they were making bone soup, when one of the neighbors walked by.
What are you two doing there in the middle of the street?
We're making our world famous bone soup.
Bone soup?
Yes, it's an old family recipe passed down from generation to generation.
I've never heard of such a thing. That's preposterous.
No, see, our world famous bone soup is cooking up really nicely right now. But we need some water to unleash the flavor locked deep inside the bone. Can you help us with some water?
Yes, I've got water at home. I can go get it.
Asante Sana, thank you.
All right.
So the neighbor went home to get water. But when she got there, she realized she didn't have enough water to fill the soup pot. So she decided to ask some of her friends for help.
Ujima means collective work and responsibility. Let's help our neighbor out by working together with our hands like this to make a river of flowing water. Together. Ujima!
Jumbo neighbor, I've been looking for some water to make some soup with some friends. Do you have something you can share? Thank you so much. Sunday Sana. Here's the water.
Bone soup, trusting in fate to make some food, making the best soup you ever knew with a pot and a bone and water too.
Well, what else do you need for your famous bone soup?
We sure could use some vegetables to make this soup hearty and special.
Well, you know, I've got a garden. I can go get some.
That will be great. Asante Sana, thank you.
So the neighbor went to her vegetable garden to pick some vegetables for the soup. On the way, she decided to ask help from some of her farmer friends.
Jumbo neighbor, I'm looking for some vegetables. I'm wondering if you could share what you have. What would you like to share? Carrots and more. Thank you so much. This is going to taste delicious. I can't wait.
Asante Sana, thank you for the zucchini too.
Bone soup.
Bone soup, trusting in fate to make some food, making the best soup you ever knew with a pot and a bone and veggies too.
Well, what else do you need for your famous bone soup?
Well, the soup is almost complete, but some meat will sure make it succulent and hearty.
You know, I have a friend who's a butcher. I'll go get him.
Asante Sana.
So the neighbor went to go get her friend, the butcher.
My friend told me about this world famous bone soup that you're making. I have lots of meat in the freezer. I'm willing to share some.
Asante Sana, thank you. The soup is almost Well, the soup is almost done. We sure could use some spices to bring out the exotic flavors.
I'll get some.
So the neighbor went home, checked his spice rack to get the most exotic spices of all for the bone soup. On the way, he decided to ask for help from some of his friends.
I can smell it now. Ooh.
Asante Sana.
Thank you. It smells so savory.
What else do you need?
Bone soup. Bone soup.
this bone soup?
Well, actually, our world famous bone soup is almost done. Actually, we're ready to serve it now, but wait a minute. We don't have any bowls.
We've got bowls and spoons too.
Well,
Asante Sana, thank you for the bowls. Since all you contribute, you can have some.
And so the villagers all took part in the Kamaru, the great feast. Because everyone worked together, they had enough soup to share with all the neighbors in the community. Everyone exclaimed that this was the best soup they'd ever tasted.
Ah, so delicious.
it's so hearty. These vegetables are fresh. Now, that was some good soup, but now what are we going to do now? I mean, we had enough to eat today, but what about tomorrow and the next day? I mean, what are we going to do now?
Suddenly, Milana remembered the words of Culture Queen.
Oh, you mighty race! You can accomplish what you will. Open your mind. Where is your pride? All that you need lives inside. You can't give up. You can't give in. That's not the way of Black Americans. Oh, that's the principles of Kwanzaa that you'll need to help Culture Kingdom to succeed. You made the soup and you made it well. Now use the soup to bring Culture Kingdom wealth.
I got it. I got an idea. We made the soup and it was a hit in the community. Let's write down the recipe and sell it.
That's a great idea, but I have a better idea. Why don't we make the soup, sell it to the restaurant and people on the internet so all of the people in Culture Kingdom can become recession-proof?
But wait a minute. Where are we going to get all those ingredients to make that much soup?
Just follow my lead.
So the two scholars called all the citizens together for a community meeting.
Let's get organized. Let's get organized. We've got to strategize how to get organized. We've got to strategize how to get organized.
Citizens of Culture Kingdom, we can't sit back and let the recession end. We have the power to end the recession now. We must have the determination become recession-proof now.
Hooray! Let's pull together.
Hey, that's Coochie Chakalia! Self-determination.
If we continue to make this soup by making money for the community, we can work in the spirit of umoja or unity. All in agreement, say Harambe!
Harambe! All get some friends together and we'll continue to bring bones for the bone soup.
That's Umija.
Umoja. Creative work and responsibility.
I'll only get vegetables from local farmers. That's way we'll have fresh vegetables and the money will all stay in Culture Kingdom.
That's Ujamaha.
Cooperative economics.
You always have really good ideas.
I've always had wonderful ideas. I write a business plan. And I want to make sure that we make money because our business is going to be a success because it's going to have a vision and goals.
That's Nia!
And I'll use
Nia means purpose.
And I'll use my artistic creativity to create labels for the food as well as the website.
That's Kuumba.
And Kuumba means creativity. Bone soup, bone soup. Trusted in faith to make some food. Making the best soup you ever knew with the Kwanzaa principles to see us through.
Citizens of Culture Kingdom, I always had faith that you would come to your senses because our people are resilient. Now you've made the soup
And our day, our new day has begun. Let us march on until victory is won.
Habargani, what's the news? The Kwanzaa spirit lives in you.
Umoja,
Ujima,
Ujamaha,
And Nia.
Kuchichakalia.
with these 7 principles combined, we are the spirit of Kwanzaa time. Harambe! Harambe! Say it 7 times and make the world better. Harambe! 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 Harambe!
Went on to make the soup. The bone soup was a scrumptious sensation. It was so good that even former President Barack Obama traveled to Culture Kingdom for a bowl. The soup was so good that the citizens decided to open up a restaurant that they called
the
Bone Soup Kitchen.
Home of the world famous bone soup. By opening the restaurant, it provided jobs for all the unemployed citizens of Culture Kingdom and provided recession-proof.
The Bone Soup Kitchen is now open. Who would like to work here?
And so the scholars hired the best chefs, the best managers, the best architects and construction professionals. They hired the best janitors and artists so they would have a successful business. And pretty soon, the citizens of Culture Kingdom were able to work themselves out of the recession. And they were able to do that because they remembered the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. You see, my friends, although the soup was tasty indeed, the bone had nothing to do with how the soup turned out. The secret to the soup is that everyone had worked together. And because they did, every family in the community would be blessed with a legacy of prosperity for generations and generations to come.
Bone soup, bone soup. President Free to make some food. Making the best that you ever knew with the Kwanzaa principles to see us through.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Bone Soup. Yes, Franklin Anderson, Jennifer Dowdell, Sam Love, David Mormon, Peggy Tillery, Geraldine Walker, under the direction of Kendra Kane and Scott Meesey. Give it up. Next, we're bringing up Phoenix Drum and Dance.